So these books have changed my life. Not to sound dramatic, but it's gonna be a little dramatic either way. But I'm not even kidding. I feel like these books have changed my life because I think about these books all the time. Like, not a day goes by when scenes in these books, these characters just play on a reel through my head. It is actually ridiculous. And something else that's ridiculous, if I can go on a rant for just a minute, I hate the summer heat. I am so over it. It is so hot outside. I have nothing cute to wear in the summer. It's actually ridiculous. This is why I like the fall, because I like to be cozy and wear cute sweaters, have cute shoes. But in the summer, literally, what do I wear? All I can think of is to wear a t-shirt, but I feel like a t-shirt is really boring. But thankfully, I have figured out a solution to up my summer clothing game, and that is jewelry. I just want to take a quick second to thank Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. They sent me 2 jewelry pieces to show you guys, and one of them I'm wearing right now. They are just cute little hoop earrings with this little drop, like little pearl drop, and it is so cute, and I think it really complements this outfit. And I love some little gold hoops, but I love this one because it just adds a little extra flair, and I just feel like they look so cute, and they're very like minimalistic. I also love minimalistic jewelry, and they have a wide selection of earrings, necklaces, rings. Like, they have so many things, and they are also very affordable because prices start at just $50, and I can tell you that these are just so nice because I don't feel them either. I feel like my ears are very sensitive sometimes, but I don't feel these like at all. And here are the other gold hoops that I have, and these ones are nice too because they're just basic gold hoops. They're a little bigger hoops than these, but these are like the perfect size for me, and I feel like it just helps elevate my style. And I'm really excited to continue to buy from Ana Luisa because, again, there's so many cute things to choose from. I really want to get necklaces from them in the future. Oh, and also I can definitely say they are tarnish free because I'm telling you, I've worn multiple pieces in the shower for days on end and they do not tarnish. And again, you can't even feel that they're in your ear, and that is so nice. And especially during the summer, I'm really excited to go to the beach and wear these pieces because heck yeah, I want to look cute on the beach. Oh, and did I also mention they have a 2-year warranty in case you don't like them? But you won't need that warranty because I can guarantee that you will love these pieces. So if you want to check them out for yourself, and I know you'll want to, make sure to check the link down below, and also there's going to be a QR code on the screen. And make sure you use those links to go to the website so they know that you came from this video. And I want to say a big thank you again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. And let's go ahead and get on with talking about my favorite books that have changed my life. Okay guys, I tried to not repeat books that I've talked about in the past. I tried to kind of be different and kind of talk about different books that you guys haven't heard of, but I guarantee that there's gonna be quite a few that you guys have heard of. But listen, I can't help it, okay? I am but a follower. I don't even know how many books I have to talk about here. I'm kind of doing this on a whim because I just wanted to just yap about my favorite books. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're getting a little nostalgic here. There's a little bit of nostalgia associated with some of these books, and I'm sure you can definitely tell, because are these particular books the best written books, the best books of all time? Probably not, but because they are so nostalgic to me, this is why that they are life-changing, because they did in fact change my life. And one of them, this is a really big one, is The Selection by Kira Cass. I know, I read this in high school. So many friends of mine read it. We all bonded over it. And back then in high school, I didn't read as much because it was seen as you're a nerd or you're a dork or a loser if you read, which is funny. How the tables have turned now, huh? There are 3 books in the main trilogy, and then there's 2 others that follow the daughter, and then there's one that's called Happily Ever After. It's like a set of novellas in this world. But I feel like the Selection book in particular really has my heart. I'm sure you've heard of it, but I'm going to keep it brief. The Selection follows this girl named America, and in this world of Elia, they're all in a caste system. So you have the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, all of that. And I believe America was either a 6 or a 5. I don't really exactly remember. There's this big competition where Prince Maxon is holding this, again, competition to choose a wife. America becomes a contestant to win Prince Maxon's heart. And with that comes America moving into the castle and kind of being a part of this whole like royalty system, and she is very like appalled by this idea. She honestly didn't even want to do it, but this is a great opportunity for her family because, like I said, Prince Maxon is a 1, she's like a 6, and I feel like that's enough to be said to make you intrigued in the story. I feel like now there's a lot of books that kind of take after the selection, like The Rose Bargain, for example, reminds me a lot of it. I just feel like this book was like the start of something that inspired so many other people, and that's why I really, really love it. And again, I was so into this book when I read it back in the day because it was one of the only books that I had read really in like a really, really long time, so it just has my heart in that way, and it'll always be a book that has just changed my life, and I always seek out a book that is like the selection because it just gives me so many like good memories, and it was just such a good book and like such a good story, and I think about these characters quite often. Honestly, it's kind of crazy how much I actually think about them. This one may not be a 5-star anymore if I reread it. This is a book that I read in one day when I was probably a year into college. I started kind of dabbling into reading, but nowhere near how it is now. I read The Fill-In Boyfriend by Kira Cass, and this book had a chokehold on me. And I know it's just a silly, fun, easy YA book, but it was still just something that I really, really enjoyed. This one is about this girl named Gia, and she basically gets dumped right before she's about to prove to her friends that she has this really hot college boyfriend, and she's like a popular girl in school. And I feel like that's kind of fun because we never really follow like the popular girl in school. Anyways, she gets dumped. She runs outside to try to stop her boyfriend from, or her ex-boyfriend from leaving, and then she ends up finding this other guy, and she's like, hey, can you just be my boyfriend for like just a little bit? And then essentially he says yes, and that goes from there. So they end up having this fake relationship. It's very fun. It was just a fun, easy read, and it was just something that I don't know, I have so many good memories attached to it. I remember enjoying it so much. I read it in one sitting on my bed. Like, I remember where I was at my dad's and I was just reading it, and I loved it. And I think even if I reread it, I would just give it a 5 anyway, just because I loved it so, so much. And I feel like I want to shout out this book too, again, for nostalgia purposes, The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This was one of the first thriller books I've ever read, and if you guys know me, I love mystery thrillers. And I guess I never really realized that I could read them in book form, and I was like, wait, so that was one of the first horror books I ever read. I actually did do a vlog on it. Now that I think about it, I do think that it might have been a little bit slow in the middle, but just the plot twist at the end, it was so well done. I really, really enjoyed it, and that is a book that I just can't forget about, honestly. And another book for nostalgia purposes, again, I don't know if I would give this a 5 if I reread it. I think one day I need to, but that is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. This was the first book I ever read that had a smut scene. I know, isn't that crazy? And I don't think it hit me until it happened. I was like, wait, I'm reading that right now? That's crazy. Like, because I didn't realize that you could do that. Like, and I sound so dumb, but it's because I had started reading again and I never thought, because I've always read YA books, and obviously this is an adult romance. So this is a second chance romance following Macy and Elliot. And this is told in a past and present perspective. And basically, Macy and Elliot were really, really close when they were younger. And then something happened between them. They dated, they broke up, they were each other's first love. It was a big deal. And then something happens between them and they don't talk for a very, very long time, for like 10 years or something. And then Macy ends up being engaged to someone, and then she sees Elliot again, and all of those feelings start flooding back. And then we are getting these past chapters where we're slowly being told what happened between them. It's a little annoying to be like teased about it, like you have to find out until the very end what happened between them, but I think the wait was worth it because you got to understand their connection for each other, and you got to experience like all their memories with them, and as you go on you start to like slowly understand them more, and I thought that was really, really fun. So this one is also just very close to my heart because of that. And I will have to give this a reread at some point because it was a 5-star, but who knows if it would still be a 5-star. I actually don't know. I am not sure. And I know you guys are probably so sick of me talking about this book and this series, but I have to include it in this list, of course, because this is a series that I can't stop thinking about. Ever. And that is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I know. I won't talk about this for that long, but this is just a really cute, easy, fast-paced, perfect YA romantasy series. This story is about a girl named Evangeline, and her true love is marrying someone else, so in order to stop this, she goes to the Prince of Hearts, Jax, for help. And with every little fairy deal comes at a price. So they agree that he will grant her 3 kisses. No, he will grant her, she owes him 3 kisses wherever and whenever he wants. And that sounds really weird, but you'd have to read it to understand. Of course you would have to read it to understand. This trilogy in a whole just has this chokehold on me, and I think about these characters all the time. I did read Caraval first. If you care more about world building, I would say yes, read the Caraval trilogy first, but if you just want to hop into the story, you can. It tells you everything you need to know. Stephanie Garber's writing, it's very, very fast paced. There's always something going on, and it was honestly just perfect for me because I'm somebody that tends to get a little bored during books, but this one just had things happening so much. So if you want to read this series, this is your sign to do it now. It is so good. And the novella, The Mirror of Infinite Faith, is coming out soon. So it's the perfect time to read it right now. And another one that I guarantee you haven't read is Johnny Angel by Danielle Steele. I know. Probably when you look at the cover, you're like, what is that? So this was a book that my mom wanted me to read, and I loved it way more than I thought I would. I decided to give this a 5-star because the way that Danielle Steele made me care about the characters under 300 pages was just so good to me. So this is more like a literary fiction book, but with a hint of magical, not magical realism, but there's a little bit of magic in it because it follows this family where they suffer a loss. The mother is mourning her son, and her son comes back. She's like, wait, why can I see you? You're gone. And he's like, well, I came back because I have a job to do. So you're basically following the family and going through the grief, but also trying to figure out why did the son come back and what is his mission. It was just very bittersweet to read, and I just really enjoyed it. And I think about it all the time because it just felt very unique, and the ending quite literally shocked me. I cried. So this one was probably one of the most surprising series ever. I'm not done with the series yet, but I know that this series is gonna be in my top series of all time too. So I've read the first 3 books, and the way I feel about these characters is kind of unreal. I just care for these characters so much, and that is the Boys of Tommen series. I'm holding up Binding 13, but Binding 13 was not a 5-star for me. But I think I'm probably gonna end up changing my rating to a 5 because I feel like this series as a whole is going to be something, or it is something that I think about quite literally all the time. Binding 13 follows this girl named Shannon Lynch, and she transfers to Tommen College, which is a high school, and she meets Johnny, and things go from there. These books are very character driven, and that wasn't something that I absolutely loved, but I ended up just really caring about these characters and what they were doing and what was going on and all of the family stuff that's going on and the trauma that these characters are enduring. It is insane, and just the way Chloe Walsh writes it, it's so easy. I don't know how she does it, but even when her books are super long, you just want to keep reading them because she just makes the characters so likable. And I don't know, I love the world, and I have to read Redeeming 6, and I am scared. And when the show comes out, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And this other one is a really unpopular opinion, okay? And I know it's gonna be, but I don't care. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Listen, I know, not everyone likes this series, okay? But I ate this first book up. I don't know what it was. I liked our main character, Jude. She was so interesting to read about, and it was so interesting learning about her and like what she wanted. And it was so interesting because she is a human and she just wants to go back to the Fae world so bad. And usually it's like the opposite. So I just thought that was really fun. This book follows our main character Jude, and she wants nothing but to be like a part of the court and be a part of the fairy world. And she's a human though, so that's a little bit hard. So in order to make her own place at the court, she has to defy Prince Carden. And he absolutely hates her. I know he's kind of a bully. I really like them. I don't know, okay? The note that she found in here, like there are so many things that I love about this book and I don't want to give anything away. This one just plays rent-free in my mind all the time, honestly. And I feel like I can't talk about books that have changed my life without mentioning A Court of Thorns and Roses. So the first one, I didn't absolutely love. And if anything, I was confused by it. Because we went from kind of this mundane thing, Feyre just doing her stuff every day, to this crazy battle that's going on. And if you know, right? And then we got into the second book and then the third book and even like Nesta's story. Like reading ACOTAR, I think about them all the time. There are specific scenes from some of the books that just play in my head, and just the way that Sarah J. Maas like created this world, did such a good job of like describing the fairies and the monsters and like the battles and just everything. It's so creative, and like I was shook genuinely throughout like the whole series. I feel like that's just a series that of course I'm going to talk about. Of course I am. Of course. As you can tell, I'm not picking up the books because I'm lazy, but this one is quite recent, and that is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was so good. If you don't like literary fiction, read this, because this is a little bit of literary fiction, but I'm telling you, this book's gonna change your mind. Yes, it is a romance and like it has a love story in it, but it's mostly like this literary fiction, a little bit of sci-fi and romance. It was so good. Just the way Taylor Jenkins Reid wrote the book and the story and the characters and just everything and the family drama that was going on, it was so entertaining and devastating as well. This book follows our main character, Joan, and she gets the opportunity to work for NASA and potentially go to space, and that's where she meets Vanessa. They kind of start to get along and become close, where also Joan is kind of dealing with her sister and also kind of going through some stuff with her niece as well. Just Joan like discovering herself and what she wants out of life and just everything that happened. It was just such a good and like fast-paced book. And the way it ended, I cried. I didn't love the first book, but the second book I gave a 5. The third book I gave a 5. And the fourth book, Play Along, is my absolute favorite. That is a 6-star read for me. This book is following Isaiah and Kennedy. Kennedy and Isaiah meet because Kennedy gets a job kind of working like alongside the baseball team. I don't remember. I think she's a physical therapist. I could be way wrong, but I don't remember. Either way, and I know it sounds bad. I should know, but I need to reread it, I guess. But anyway, she takes a job, and Isaiah immediately from day one when he sees her, he likes her and he's like, she's gonna be my wife. That got me, and I love Isaiah. And I just loved the epilogue. It was one of the best epilogues I've ever read because the epilogue was just so meaningful, and it wasn't just, oh, we're gonna get married and have like 5 kids. Like, it was so good, and that's really what made it a 6 for me, was the very, very end. And just even like the dynamic between Kennedy and Isaiah was so fun because she's more of that like black cat kind of vibe and he's like that golden retriever vibe, and I love that dynamic. And also it's a fake marriage, so, or marriage of convenience. Either way, I loved it. I can't wait to reread it someday. Play Along, my absolute favorite in the Windy City series, and I'm going to be so sad when that series is over and the characters are gone. Oh, there's another book that I want to talk about, and I haven't talked about this book at all. It might not be a good idea to add this book to this list, but guys, the way I felt about this book from the beginning versus how I feel now, 2 completely different people, and that is Six of Crows. I don't know if this is a 5. I really don't know, because I finished this today. Usually, well, besides all these books I just talked about, usually I don't care about the characters that much. It's like, oh yeah, that's sad, but it's like, I'm not like, you know, freaking out for them. In the beginning, I was like, I don't understand what's happening, what's going on, but just the found family in this book, I think the thing that I really, really love about this book and why I'm like wanting to give it a 5 is because I love the characters. I don't know how she's made me care so much about these characters, but just learning their stories, and this world is just so like unique and different to me. This book is following Kaz and his crew, and basically they are going to go on this big quest to do this heist. And that sounds very straightforward, but there's so much that happens, and there's so much stories that these characters have. And at first I was really like kind of iffy on how I felt, but as I went on, I started learning more and more and more about these characters, and there are things that they went through that I just cannot believe. And this is a YA book, but the way she wrote it is just so fascinating, so creative. This world was so unique. Really, really enjoyed this, and I cannot wait to read the second one. This is going to be in a reading vlog soon. I am just in utter shock about how I feel about this one. I don't know if it's a 5, but man, just after talking about it, it might be. It really might be. And I know that there's probably some books that maybe you had expected for me to talk about if you've been watching me for a while, but as I'm reading more, my taste is kind of evolving and changing, and my feelings are changing about books, and I feel like that's a good thing. It shows growth. And definitely let me know in the comments down below if any of these books are in your top favorites, but also let me know if any of these books are not your top favorites. I think that would be fun to know too, and we can kind of talk about it a little bit. I would just love to hear your opinions, and definitely make sure to check out the link down below to shop on Ana Luisa, because there are just so many great pieces that I don't want you to miss out on. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!